So the gut is the second brain. So if your gut is not good, your brain is not good. And I have had personal experience with this. I've had maybe 2 panic attacks in my life, and I didn't realize that my gut function was so poor. I didn't realize I had food sensitivities. I was eating things that my body thought was toxic. Um, there's a thing called uh, gut permeability or leaky gut, and you eat something that your gut cannot handle and it leaks into the bloodstream and causes an autoimmune response. And sometimes that comes in the form of an attack and a panic attack. So I went through, just months of just not wanting to do the things that I normally did. I cried a lot. Um, I just it didn't matter what anybody wanted to do with me. All my friends, I just put that aside because I just couldn't handle it mentally. And so once I figured out that my gut was impaired, I started to repair it and I quit putting fuel on the fire. I got those things out of my diet that I wasn't supposed to eat.
Sometimes the gut is called the second brain because it has so many millions of nerves and nerve endings there. The brain and the gut originate from the exact same cells in the human embryo, and then they divide up to form two different organs. But these two organs remain connected throughout life by the 10th cranial nerve called the vagus nerve. And this vagus nerve allows for chemical messages between the brain and the gut and brain all the time.
The brain is a amazing organ. It's so resilient, but there are certain things that feed it, and there are other things that don't feed it. A lot of things that happen with the brain can be inflammatory in nature. So if you have a really bad diet, you're going to create inflammatory issues throughout your body, not just in the brain.
When the food we eat is broken down and digested, those breakdown products for our body can either help our brain and body or harm it. When you're tending to go towards the fast food restaurants and processed, ultra processed junk foods, a lot of candy and those added refined sugars all the time, if that's the diet you're leaning on, which is not unusual, that's typically the standard American diet. That's why it's called the sad diet, for that reason, sometimes called the Western diet. But those foods that many of us are consuming are not great for our waistline, but also not great for our brain. They feed the bad microbes that live in the gut, and those guys love to eat sugar and candy, but when they do, they cause trouble. They cause inflammation in our gut, and their breakdown products are more toxic in our body.
And so, when they say what you put in, you get out, it's pretty true. So if you're feeding yourself, nutrient dense fruits and vegetables and, making sure that you have enough protein in your body, and carbs are important as well for energy, then you feel a little bit better than when you've been eating, let's say, bean burritos and burgers all the time. You don't feel as sluggish, you feel like you have more energy.
When you're eating those healthy veggies, healthy salads, clean proteins, the omega-3 fatty acids, the nuts, the seeds, the great spices, those feed the good microbes, and their breakdown products of digestion are positive substances like short chain fatty acids, which help the brain. So we want to think about food in that way. Just very simply, move towards healthier whole foods. I like to say skip the store-bought orange juice, which has no fiber in it, and a lot of added sugar. Just eat the whole orange. It's that principle you want to be thinking about with food more and more as you move forward. Removing things like processed vegetable oil, soy oil, corn oil, palm oil. Actually, a lot of processed vegetable oils are used in fast food restaurants. So unfortunately, those oils cause inflammation in the gut. And when inflammation happens, that's not good for that brain and gut connection. Another one you'll be surprised by is artificial sweetness, because it turns out even natural sweetness like stevia can drive or worsen anxiety, and research has shown that. So if you've moved from a soda to a diet soda, think about over time slowly cutting back on that if you can, because if you have anxiety, those artificial sweeteners are worsening your anxiety.
Really just piece by piece, I was able to figure out what worked for me. And now I just really want to help others kind of figure out what might work for them. So I was 220 pounds, and the lowest I got to was 135, and I thought I was a little too thin. So that was 85 pounds, and now I'm just under 150. So,
What did you notice when you first started adopting that clean eating?
I've lost 80 pounds.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, people are like, oh, I can't lose weight. I'm on antidepressants. Well, I'm on 3. And I lost 80 pounds, and I've kept it off for 3 years.
Studies have shown sticking to a healthy, balanced diet can help with the symptoms of anxiety and depression. It can be a prescription for thinking more clearly, feeling more alert, and improving concentration and attention span.